My only argument was if we're going to compare it to Tupac, I feel like Tupac's had a greater impact in and outside of hip hop culture.
He definitely did, because back when the whole Biggie versus Tupac thing was going on, I'm riding with Tupac. The reason why I'm riding with Tupac is because what he was talking about, I felt more. Tupac was more, even though Big's delivery was more poetic, Tupac was the poet. Tupac, the way his lyrics came out, made you actually feel something. You know what I'm saying, like I literally today listened to Me Against the World, the album.
You actually just slipped into something that I wanted to talk about, which was,
what's that?
What is his impact? The reason I asked that is because what I see is, and this is just me, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I see a lot of rappers that swear by Tupac. They love Tupac. Oh, Pac was the realest. I'm the new Pac. I'm the reincarnated Pac. I don't hear Dear Mama in the catalog. I don't hear If My Homies Call in the catalog. I don't hear any of those records in the catalog. So what is the impact?
They're only going by the tough guy image. They only going by the Pac spitting at the camera. They only
that's what I'm talking about.
Putting his middle finger up.
That's what I'm talking about.
Listen, look,
the different
because these artists don't put out records like Trapped. I don't hear those. I don't hear any of that for the people that are so inspired by Tupac. That's my question. Like, I just don't see a lot of those records.
Listen to and watch the video for Holler If You Hear Me. That could have been the soundtrack to the summer of 2020, when after George Floyd got killed.
Definitely. And like that's my thing, bro. Like Terry, you beat me to it. The spitting into the camera is what I think. It's a shame, but that's what gets glorified more, in my personal opinion, versus the Trapped and Brenda's and all that. That's just me. That's the way I see it. Go ahead, Lone. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say it was also who Tupac was, outside of music as well. Like, a lot of artists will say that they sound like Tupac or whatever they're talking about, but they're not Tupac in real life. You know what I mean? They're not a Nipsey in real life. You know what I mean? It's different. So a lot of those comparisons are just silly.
Tupac was a whole energy. You know how nowadays the phrase is what do people be saying? A mood. That's a whole mood. Tupac was a whole mood. He was a whole energy. He was a whole movement by himself. You know what I'm saying? He was able to capture ears through music, and he was actor. You know what I'm saying? He was getting in his acting bag, and you know what I'm saying? It's just the way he was very charismatic. He also was a son of a Black Panther. He grew up around a lot of activists, which is why his music sounds like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the last of a dying breed, because you don't really hear people like that anymore. Came up behind
like Scarface,
like that, or had a Scarface.
Yeah, good one, Long. Yep.
The last of a dying breed.
I see what you did. I see what you did there, Lone. Okay.
No, but the thing is with Tupac, people say, "Oh, well, he contradicted himself," but like, who among us doesn't contradict themselves? Like, okay, yes, he had that revolutionary energy, but just because you're a revolutionary doesn't mean that you don't like to go to the strip club. Don't mean that you don't get around. Don't mean that, but it doesn't mean that he didn't at the same. He was sincere about I get around, but he was also sincere about keep your head up. He was also sincere about Soldier Story. He was also sincere, because we're not one thing all of the time. I can be on here on my straight hip hop shit, but like I said, when I go out on Friday and Saturday night, like, I'm not trying to hear all that uplift the community. This that
trying to hear that devil music.
I want to hear the music. I want to hear the music that makes somebody's daughter want to back that ass up on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
What about my son?
Stop.
Yeah, see, that's where we gotta switch. That's where we
Terry, get your people, man. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
If that's what you want to do,
but
live your life, Long.
But that's where because Tupac talked to people where they were. That's what made him. I mean, I'm not saying Big didn't do that, but there were the people that wanted to do good for their community, but at the same time, like, when it's time to go get this Hennessy, you know what I'm saying? and have a good time and have a, do this, that, and the third. We're not going to act like that's not us too. Like you can't, like, it's like when people get mad at kids who are in college and like they going out for spring break and they're doing whatever. I'm like, don't act like when you was in college, you was just sitting around watching Tony Brown's Journal and
oh, that's a lot.
And listening to Malcolm X speeches. Like you was out here bothering somebody's daughter who didn't love you. Like that was part of your college experience as well.
People tend.
I think
would tend to.
I agree with y'all because everybody's flawed. Nobody's perfect. I guess my thing is I like to see more of that part. That's all I'm saying. But to your point, like the kid NLE Choppa, I believe, had the video where he did like 4 different Tupac scenes. Like he did the spitting joint with the Red Wings on jersey on. His video song was actually cold too. But I get it. They probably gravitate towards the Thug Life tat and all that. Like I get it. Probably didn't know what the Thug Life tat really meant.
Understand too.
Cool.
You gotta understand too. Unless they were actually brought up listening to Pac and like seeing his interviews and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a vision of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't experience Tupac like we experienced. It's like certain artists that we didn't get to experience didn't get to actually get a full understanding of them until we seen like a documentary or something. Then you're like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, certain shit starts to be different to you as far as how you see it.
Lose sight of that sometimes too, because everybody isn't a digger. Like somebody, like we talk about diggers with wax, right? You dig in the crates. Everybody doesn't go back and do research on everything. Like some people just take it for whatever the era was. So I understand that. I
with Parliament Funkadelic. I loved them coming up. I didn't know they was on every drug under the moon when they was recording a lot of that shit.
Yeah, they recorded that album with the Chicago Bulls from that era.
Say, man.
Stop.
See?
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live show every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/newoldheads. And we invite you to join our hip hop community on Discord. Access it by going to newoldheads.com/community for talks on hip hop, sports, music, news, and everything else.